What is going on, everyone? It is me, Lone, and this is Lone Gaming. Today I have another update available video for you where I talk about the biggest and best gaming news arising from the gaming industry. Today we have a couple of news topics, so please share your thoughts about them in the comments below. And if you go on to like this video, please like. If you go on to dislike this video, please dislike. So now let's get to the first news topic, which is about a lot of video game delays that have been happening recently. So as many of you might know, Uncharted 4 was delayed, Mass Effect Andromeda was also delayed as well recently, and I wanted to talk about these two delays, and there probably were others, but at least these two major delays, to talk about the delays of games in general. And this is a topic we actually covered on the podcast this week, where we talked about Bethesda's model with Fallout 4, and how they actually didn't announce the game at all until they absolutely were sure of the state of the game and when it would be able to be released without any delays. So effectively what they did was waited to E3, or waited just to prior to E3 with the teaser trailer to announce Fallout 4, and then they were like, yep, we know it's coming this year, we know it's going to be released by that stage and that's going to be finished, because we haven't even talked about the game at all. So we haven't put any initial release dates out there for any delays to actually be possible. And this is a really interesting topic because it could be a potential solution to actually combat the issue of games being delayed. Now let me, make this clear. I'm not against a game being delayed. If a game delay means that the game is better, is more polished, doesn't have game-breaking bugs, and on release when consumers have the game in their hands, it's actually a working game and a workable game, I'm completely fine with that. And I do encourage and implore game developers and publishers to take the time with their games, especially if they already have a release date out there, but they realize that they're not going to be able to create the game they wanted in a finely polished state by that release date. But what I'm talking about here is a solution to say, well, how do we actually stop delays? Because a delay doesn't happen unless you actually have a publicly available or released release date for the game. If there is no release date made publicly available for the game, then you can't say, oh, unfortunately the game's going to be delayed to this date now, because there is no date to base that upon. Now, of course, developers and publishers would have internal dates and milestones that they're trying to target, but in terms of a public perception standpoint, if they don't talk about their game and publish a release date, then in the eyes of the consumer, there is no delay. So the point is, I would also encourage developers and publishers to hold up on, making available a release date for the game until they're absolutely sure that the game is going to be ready at a certain date. And that's not because it's bad to consumers or anything, but it's actually probably more damaging to the publisher and damaging to the developer, because when a game is delayed, it kind of stifles your hype a little bit for the title that you're about to release. You've built up all of this hype with a set release date in mind, and then for you to change that, it kind of just takes away the excitement factor and the hype factor a little bit. So if anything, this advice is more for publishers and developers to be able to ensure that their games have as much hype as possible on launch. And a great way to do that, again using Fallout 4 as an example, is to have a release date that you actually hit. And more importantly, to have a workable title on that release date, because I would still prefer a delay to happen as opposed to come launch day that you release a game that's not in a workable form. But for the benefit of the publisher, it would be even better if you didn't have to delay the game at all. So last point to reiterate, just take your time with development, try not to set unreasonable release dates that are like 1 to 2 years out, because given the nature of game development, given the nature of publishing demands and marketing demands, things are probably going to change, so you're going to find it very difficult to hit those targets. And the second news topic is about The Elder Scrolls, and specifically rumors that are going around about The Elder Scrolls 6 Argonia to be releasing this year in 2016. And this probably just highlights the fact that there is no news going around at the moment, and Bethesda fans just like to speculate and to throw rumors around. We experienced it with Fallout 4, and I assure you we're going to be experiencing it with Elder Scrolls 6. In fact, it's already happened. That's why I'm talking about this topic. So the YouTube channel The Know has covered some rumors talking about Elder Scrolls 6 coming this year. There are a bunch of reasons that they state that this could be a possibility, but I'm just going to say this. It's not happening, guys. Fallout 4 literally just came out last year, and if you want to look at the release dates of Bethesda Game Studios games as distinct to the publisher Bethesda, for example, you had Fallout 3 released in 2008, Elder Scrolls Skyrim released in 2011, then Fallout 4 released in 2015. So it's actually taken Bethesda an extra year compared to the 3 years between Fallout 3 and Skyrim to release Fallout 4, which suggests to me that now BGS probably needs about at least 3 but probably 4 years to create their games. So given that Fallout 4 was just released in 2015, we are probably not going to be seeing anything Elder Scrolls related until 2018 or probably more realistically 2019. And actually though, because Bethesda has changed their development cycle, like we now know that they're working on 3 projects, Todd Howard actually talked about this recently, you know, we have no idea what their future strategies could be. I'm still only using their past precedents as the best supporting evidence to say that a later release date for Elder Scrolls 6 is probably the most likely scenario. But in fact, this new development cycle that they have could even push things out further. But I still find it very unlikely for this new development cycle to actually push forward, as in make the release date of Elder Scrolls 6 any earlier, and certainly not this year. Let's stop the rumor and speculation. I've been very guilty of it in the past. I remember at one point saying that I thought Fallout 4 would come out in 2014. We all do it. We all get into the hype. You know, when one game releases and there's not much news going around, we like to think about the next thing that Bethesda is working on. They are obviously working on the Elder Scrolls 6. They probably already have it in development. We know with the way that Fallout 4 was developed, it was pretty much concepted from day one, I believe, pretty much after Fallout 3 was completed, if my memory serves me right. And certainly when Elder Scrolls was on foot, there were people thinking about Fallout 4, they were planning, they were concepting, they were storyboarding, etc. So a similar thing is probably happening now with the Elder Scrolls 6, because Fallout 4 is out. But does that mean that the game is going to be released this year? Absolutely no way. It is probably at the very least 2018, but I'm going to assume at this very early stage, it's probably going to be 2019. So don't listen to the rumors, don't buy into the hype. Just take your time and enjoy the games that you have now. And the very last news topic for today is Fallout 4 related, and it's about a Reddit user by the name of 40hazard42. He actually has a YouTube channel. I'll link the particular video I'm talking about in the description. But he's created an animation of weapon degradation in Fallout 4, showing what he thinks it could look like in Fallout 4 if it was actually a thing. Now we know that with Fallout 4, weapons don't have any degradation at all. That was the case in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, not anymore in Fallout 4, but Hazard has actually taken it one step further. Not only does he say, well, what if degradation was back in, he also tries to show the animation, and I'm showing you on screen right now because it looks awesome. It just looks absolutely incredible. So please check out his original video in the description below. I want to give him all the support for this, and hopefully it actually comes out in a mod of some sort. I don't know if this was just purely an animation or if he actually did a mod of this and just recorded the gameplay. Not quite sure on that, but it would be an awesome thing to actually have in Fallout 4 because it looks so realistic. And again, you would expect weapons to degrade in a wasteland, and while honestly, it isn't as annoying to have weapons that don't degrade anymore because you can constantly use a weapon and you don't have to try and find and repair with other similar guns and weapons. This still looks really cool, and it might be something that maybe in a survival mode could be incorporated really effectively, especially if you had these kinds of animations that actually show the weapons exploding and degrading in front of your eyes visibly. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, again highlighting the awesomeness of the Fallout 4 modding community and just community in general. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please put your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Lone, and I'll see you next time.